We've all been there. You've run out of power, there's no place to plug in. But worse, you may have other devices that also need power. Well, that's why you need a power bank. This is the Sanag 10K milliamp hour power bank, and we're going to take a look at it on this episode of Moondog R&D. This is the Sanag 10,000 milliamp power bank, and I wanted to get a power bank that would allow me to plug in multiple devices, since if any of you are parents, you will have kids with their devices, your devices. It gets to be a bit of a mess, and I also wanted one that had some built-in connectors as well. Now, this is a pretty plain package, but similar to Sanag's other products. I've reviewed some of their headphones before. You can find a link to that video on the screen now or at moondogindustries.com. But let's take a look at what is inside of here. And we have clamshell, we have some protective anti-static film, and we have the device itself and an instruction manual. Of course, always read your instruction manual before using your products. But let's take a closer look at our device over here. And it is nicely designed. It's got this interesting brushed, kind of like a faux brushed metal finish. Of course, it's in plastic, not brushed metal, but it's an interesting choice. Not only does it look interesting, but it also provides a bit of a non-slip finish, which is very useful if you have any kids or if you're pretty klutzy yourself. So you've got two input ports, or output ports I should say, on either side. You have USB-A on this side, and you do have a micro USB port here, and that would be for actually bringing in power from the inside, and this would be an a power out port. And you've got multiple cables here. You have an iOS cable here. If you have an iPhone, you have a USB-C. You have that doesn't want to come out. USB micro. And you have a USB-A. This is interesting. I don't see these very often, but this is basically a pared down USB-A. And this looks a little odd. Most of you probably haven't seen these naked, but it is essentially the same as a USB-A port, like this one, except that it doesn't have this metal housing on the outside, but it does fit into any standard USB-A square port. So just in case you didn't know that. So these are all different ways that you could send power out, though I'm assuming because this is a USB-A, most people do not send power out through a square connector like this one. This wouldn't be power out. This would actually be for plugging. This would be actually for plugging your device into a wall charger, or potentially another charging unit, or your laptop to charge your actual device. And there is a power button on the left, and it tells you how much of a charge you have on there on board. So this is at 73%, and this is 10,000 milliamps. So this should be roughly enough to charge a typical modern smartphone twice. But again, it'll depend on your particular model of smartphone and whatever device you're plugging it into. But let's try that out real quick. Actually, we're going to need our USB micro port, and we'll see how this works. Let me just plug this into my phone and see if we're getting a charge. And this lights up. Yep, we're getting a charge there. And we can also test it out at the same time, plugging it into another device. And yeah, it's charging that device and also charging my phone. Of course, this is exactly what you needed because my child forgot to recharge their device. So this is why you need a power bank. A good example, by the way. So to charge your power bank, you would just plug in a USB micro into, you just connect a USB micro, connect this to a wall charger, and you're good to go. Or, like as I'm mentioning, it does have, just unplug this again, it does have a USB-A cable. There we go. You would just plug this into your charging port of your wall plug, wall charger, or laptop, or what have you, and you'd be able to charge up your unit. And we're going to do just that. But first, I fully drained the unit so we can see how much power it can store when fully charged. Then, using the unit's built-in cable, I plugged it into a wall charger via a digital power meter. The next day, fully charged, the meter showed that the unit stored 8,156 milliamp hours of power. Now, you might say that's not exactly 10,000. Now, this is just a theory, but maybe it's not a defect. Maybe it is a safety feature, because you never actually want to fully drain a lithium battery, because that causes the chemistry to overheat and can cause a lot of those lithium battery fires you see. So, a well-built, well-designed battery or power bank should always hold a little bit of power in reserve. So perhaps when it did say 0 and the display, it actually held maybe 15-20% in reserve. So that's why when I recharged it overnight, it only charged about a little over 8,000 milliamp hours. But maybe an electrical engineer or a techie gadget head out there can leave me a comment and either confirm or correct my assumption. Even if you assume the worst case scenario, let's just say that this actually literally only holds 8,000 milliamp hours. Well, this is still a pretty good device for its intended purpose of recharging your other devices in a pinch. That's still more than enough to fully charge a typical smartphone. And the more important thing is it still has all those built-in adapter cables, which makes this super, super useful, especially if you have kids or a traveling companion who may not have the same devices as you, and of course may not have brought their cable. Like, that's never happened. So if you're interested in picking up this device, I'll include links in the video description, and of course you can find product links in my full written article on my blog at moondogindustries.com. So definitely check that out. Using those links helps support this channel, and you can help support this channel for free by just simply hitting the like and subscribe buttons. Not only does it help me, but it also helps you, because you're taking control of the algorithm. You're telling it what kind of content you actually enjoy watching, and it will suggest more content like this as opposed to cat videos, unless you're into that. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Moondog out. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please share it on forums, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, MeWe, whatever social media you're on. And if you want to see all of my videos, check out moondogindustries.com.